Oh, my lighting.
Ta-da! All right, we're recording.
Oh, wow. As I'm like, oh, my lighting. Oh, lighting.
Okay, wait, we can redo it.
No, no, no. I mean, it is what it is now. Hey, everybody.
Welcome to Crew Bouge. Welcome to the bloopers.
Blooper reel.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is week. No, not week. This is going to be episode 18, I believe.
Yeah.
Almost at the big 2-0. I looked at the calendar today and I was like, it's May. We've been doing this since October. Like we're
Yeah.
we're we're rolling along. Anyways, hi. This is Crew Bouge. I'm Des and this is Ro.
And thank you for joining us for Crew Booze. This is too funny. Guys, I'm just gonna let you in on a little secret. We kind of been drinking since earlier, so we wanted to just kind of like, let it rip today. So this is gonna be a great episode. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it's gonna be a great one.
Oh my god, I feel like this is like episode 1.
They're like, did I press the button? Yes, I pressed the button.
Okay, so Ro, how are you doing? How was your week? What are your highs?
I'm great. So like highs are, I'm loving my new gig. Really have a great team, so it's one of those things where I'm learning a lot. I am, if you guys can see, I'm still like challenged furniturely. Like I made a mistake and like, they're like, oh, you were supposed to call and schedule. We don't just call and tell you when we're coming. And I'm like, I'd have called you the day after I got here, sir.
Right.
They gave me like they were like, oh, we'll be there between the 10th and the 17th, and I'm like, sir, I would have called you on the 10th and told you to bring my stuff the next day. Like, it's okay.
Wait, what was that? Well, like, what are you waiting for?
Everything.
Oh, okay.
Like all the stuff, like this picture frame here. This is like one of my most prized like pictures. I have not like I'm gonna reframe it because in travel I broke the glass.
Okay.
So like all of my art I brought with me, like I transported that in my 2-day drive, and then like that and like any of my jewelry, because I'm like, it's ridiculous.
Oh,
like,
all the jewelry.
Yeah, all the jewelry, and but yeah, so like I bought a TV today. It's so funny, like the little things that you're like, I don't even realize that I have like not watched a TV like in like more than a month. And it's like, I haven't missed anything, but I was like, you know what? People will be over next week, like once my furniture comes, and then I'll be like, oh, how rude is that? But I was like, oh, I'm gonna get me a TV today. So that's what I did. I like got some cute stuff from IKEA, and it's funny because the girl there, she was like, oh, you can't put feet or legs on that. And I was like, watch my moves. So, and I put feet and legs on that. So
wait, when you say feet and legs, is that just like the little bottom piece?
What I wanted to do, because I'm like I'm a person that's always in transit. So I love the little cubes, right? And I feel like I can put more stuff in it than drawers. And the drawers that I would have would sit out so far, even though I do have a big bedroom, which is right behind me. I didn't want to like crowd out my space. So I like the shelving, like the little cubes where you can pull the little drawers in and out.
Yeah.
I like those much better than having like a traditional dresser.
Right.
One, because I can kind of change the drawers and it's like, oh, it's a whole new look. You know what I mean? For like $20, I got a whole new look.
Let me tell you, you can get some really cute cubes at Target. Before, like, when I was new to the cube game, I think I saw them only at like IKEA and they were like the solid colors, but Target has these like really pretty, like vibrant, like floral and other different patterns. Like the ones that I currently have, like every time someone comes over, not that I have a whole lot of visitors, but they're like, oh my gosh, I love that. And I was like, Target.
So. Oh, I'll have to look. I definitely will have to look and see. But what it is I took the feet. They're about 3 inches of feet. Well, let's say about 3 inches. It's like they literally are, it's like adding a riser. So you know how they normally just sit on the ground and they look less polished. You know what I mean? I know the whole Scandinavian thing, like whatever. But I like to buy the feet so that it raises it off the ground. So it gives it a little bit different, a little more adult look, you know what I mean?
Okay.
That kind of thing. So
Also, so like the what do you call it? Like the little robo vacuum can go underneath it and
it
like
can go
do
underneath
its
and I
thing.
don't miss anything. Like my Roomba will be
Roomba,
going.
that's what it's called.
Yeah, it's a Roomba.
Robot
So
vacuum. What am
yeah,
I? I'm
so that's
93
what
years
I
old
did this week.
apparently.
I mean, like I was getting like killer finds, like I was at the Salvation Army. You guys know I love DIY. So I got some lamps. I got 2 lamps. And then I also got this end table that I absolutely love. It's like 2-tier. It's like almost mid-century modern, but I love it. And then like I was on OfferUp getting stuff, and people,
I
I'm
just
like,
heard about OfferUp.
oh my, it's crazy. Like we're doing all of this and we haven't talked about any wine, but hey. Reel me back in. But Des, what are your highs for the week?
My highs is that I got vaccinated. My arm's still a little sore, but I'm fully vaccinated.
Join the club. Join the
Hot
club.
girl summer, hashtag waxed and vaxxed.
You are waxed and vaxxed. I'm telling you. I'm excited for you.
You told me that last week, and like I feel like ever since I've been seeing it, I was like, oh, this is a thing. Waxed and
It is
vaxxed.
a thing. It is a thing. Like when I say we need to do t-shirts, wax, vax, and wine. Like, I mean,
yes, because I've been looking at like wine festivals. I just got my bathing suit of the summer, which I have to say is super cute. Like,
that's a high.
I am ready.
and we've already scheduled our reunion.
Yes. Oh my gosh, October. Like, I feel like it's just gonna be like June, July, like that. There's something happening.
It's gonna be a bit stupid. It's gonna be.
And I'm just over the moon because it's kind of like back to life. As I said that, a coronavirus update just popped up on my phone. I'm like, we don't have time for that. We don't have time for that. Going back to normal. Sorry.
Exactly.
Turning my phone over, not getting distracted with that. So, let's see. Ro, what are you drinking this week?
So, you guys know I'm a big fan of just everyday drinkable wines. But at the same time, I love to be the partner that just has wine. You could just go into the Total Wine and grab, right? So I am drinking La Belle Angélie, or, whatever.
Oh my gosh, I love that label.
Okay, so and I will talk more about it, but it is an awesome wine. It's so funny because you remember I was not a Chardonnay fan. However, I am a French Chardonnay fan.
Yes.
That's what I've determined, like in my drinking. But this is a French Chardonnay, and it's funny. It's like La Belle Angélie was a famous character of the early 20th century, known for her beauty and joie de vivre. She was the muse of many French Impressionist painters. Discover the elegant, generous, aromatic Chardonnay from France. So, this, of course, I go then and like I got it, 12.5% alcohol.
Nice.
And it is from. This is actually a 2020, so guys, don't shy away from a vintage, right? This is a drinkable wine, and I'm really liking this one. It's 2020 vintage, and it's from Vinde, Pays. You'll have to correct me. Vinde Pays,
I think.
Exactly, the Vinde Pays region in France.
Okay.
And 12.5% alcohol. It's about $10. And what happened was I did a tasting in a store in the actual Total Wine near me, and I was like,
wait, you did a tasting? They're doing tastings again?
Oh yeah, we're doing it now. Yeah,
California's got to get on it. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Continue. I'm sorry.
I mean, I had done several in Texas, but like, yeah, they're doing them now. But I was like, oh my gosh, this is absolutely awesome. Like, I'm loving it. And so it's a medium body. I would definitely say it's a medium body.
Okay.
And it's not to say like a medium flavor intensity. And I'm funny because I'm looking at my book. You know, so the smell is very, very citrusy. Like it has a very like it's very aromatic. Like I was so surprised when I tasted this, and I was like, "This is a Chardonnay? I can't believe it." And I know, you know, there's differences in it, but I wrote down for the smell. I have a melon, I have apples, and tropical fruit. You know, I smell pineapple for everything. I don't know if I would pass any of the West set because I would be like, "What is this? Pineapple?" They'd be like, "Ma'am, everything isn't pineapple." But the taste that I put down: pear, pineapple, citrus, and I don't know if it's because I was eating lychee or lychee, whatever you want to call it. I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna test that also." I was like, "I got that too. I taste that." But what else? So giving you some information about this label, right? So
yes,
La Belle Angélie. So she was a innkeeper back in probably like the early like 1800s or whatever, 1800s or whatever. And Gauguin, you know, the French painter, who did a bulk of like impressionist work and that kind of stuff. She evidently was like this beautiful woman, and she was of course married, but he kept begging her to paint her. And he was like, "Oh, I want to paint her, I want to paint her, I want to paint her," and that kind of thing or whatever. And finally the husband agreed to like, "Okay, let's let you paint her." And you know, he did it almost in like his impressionist style, right? So he's looking at this woman who's beautiful, and her exact word, her name is Madame Sartre, whatever. She was in Pont-Aven, Brittany, Pontaven, Brittany, and she called Gauguin sweet and miserable after he painted her. She didn't like it.
Wait, sweet and miserable?
Sweet and miserable. She called him a sweet and miserable man after he painted her, and she saw it and hated it and thought it was ugly. She was like, absolutely not.
Sweet. He's like sweet, but he's miserable.
She was like, this terrible thing, you know, starving artist, you know, that kind of thing. And in 1891, another impressionist painter, Degas, bought it. And then it was then bought by another art dealer, and then it was then given by that art dealer to the Louvre. So it's funny that this all was connected. It's not this exact painting. It is literally, this is of course just the name of the wine. It's also the name of the winery. But yeah, so it's actually very good. It's a little sweeter than I thought it would be. Very easy drinking for summer. I'm like, you can see it's a straw color, very light. And it's just easy drinking. Like I will definitely get this again. It's very, very low barrier to entry. It's $10 for French Chardonnay or Chablis or whatever, you know. So as the grape is called in France. But yeah, so I absolutely am loving this one. This is going to be added to the rotation for my hot girl summer. Like I like it that much that I would definitely recommend it. If you guys have a chance, I got it at Total Wine. I think it's like $10. They don't have exclusives on this one specifically, but you can get it winery direct. So they're doing it like direct to the winery from Vin de Pays, France. So
my gosh,
this week.
That sounds amazing. And I just finished watching this show. I binge watched this show called Riviera. Have you seen it? It's on the Sundance Channel. It is with I'm not even going to get into that because you know I don't know all these actors' names. But anyway, it's a very intriguing show. And like first of all, the label reminded me of it because I was like, oh my gosh, that like just makes me think of like the Riviera and like you know just like dressing up and going to a fancy like you know dinner party or something. But basically the show is all about this like lady who works in art, and then there's like murder and like all this stuff. But basically I watch it because the settings were so beautiful. Like one season they were in like Venice and like just so yeah, the fact that you just mentioned like all the artwork and everything, it really like makes me want to go back and I don't know if I want to rewatch it, but again, the settings are so beautiful. And for someone, well, for a lot of us who haven't been anywhere during this whole pandemic, it like really was like a Calgon take me away situation. And I can totally see myself watching that and drinking that wine because it all sounds amazing. So
Yeah. So La Belle Angélie or Angel.
love it. It's such a beautiful label.
Yeah, I love it.
Awesome.
So they're like, it's just, and it really tastes how the label looks. Low, low price point,
Yeah.
low barrier to entry. So,
Okay.
so Ray, what are you drinking this week?
I am drinking a Cuun-Waah.
Mhm.
Let me show you the bottle.
Educate me, because I have no idea what that is.
This is a groundwork Cuun-Waah. Can you see the bottle?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. And this is a 2020 vintage. It was released earlier this year, earlier in February, actually. And Cuun-Waah is it's like a, are you familiar with this grape? Have you heard of this?
I am not. No, that's what I said. I was like, when you said what you were doing, I was like, oh, let's start over. I was like, because I need education. I've never had it.
Well, let me tell you all about it. So it's a very obscure grape. Not a lot of people, I shouldn't say not a lot, but it's just not a well-known grape. It's known for its deep purple and red color, which you can kind of see, like, I'll show you my glass.
Wow.
So it's not rosé. This is a light red wine.
Yeah. It looks like almost like cranberry.
Yeah, and that's one of the notes that comes across very strong in this wine. It's a beautiful color. So the precise origin is unknown for this wine. It's known from history to go back as early as the 14th century when this grape was given to Pope Urban, I believe. Yeah, Pope Urban, he planted this in the I'm going to say this correctly, Châteauneuf-du-Pape vineyards there in the Rhone Valley. So I know you've heard me talk about Châteauneuf-du-Pape before. Like, this is like one of my like all-time favorite wines. I discovered this last year, I think, and ever since then I'm just like, oh my god, it's a little on the pricey side, but before I get carried away. So basically, Cuun-Waah is one of the 13 grapes that are allowed to be in the Châteauneuf-du-Pape.
Okay.
So you can find Cuun-Waah planted in Rhone, the south of France. You can also find it planted in the central coast of California, which is actually where this is from. So like Paso Robles, also in Washington State. And this is also, I'm sure you're familiar with Provence, which is known for their rosés. So this is also known to be in Provence rosés. It's an amazing wine. It's got cranberry, a little bit of white pepper, very interesting notes, like kind of like dove deeper and then went to like the winemaker's notes. And he said there's some rhubarb in there, some rose water. It's a great wine to be paired with pretty much anything. Like, you can pair it with chicken, you can pair it with fish, you can do it any sort of cheese. You can even do, because this one in particular was aged in a barrel, you can do it with some of those like heavier, like grilled meats sort of thing. So yeah, I'm a fan. It's new for me, but I'm very much a fan.
What's the body like in the finish?
So, okay, so the one thing about Cuun-Waah is it's going to be, they're known for being low tannins. So the body, I would say this is kind of like a light to medium bodied wine. Because it is low tannin, it doesn't have just strong enough tannins to age. So this is a wine that you want to drink right away. This is like not something to put on your shelf and age. Like, you want to drink it because it's really fruit forward, vibrant, and you want to get that while it's young. Another interesting thing about this wine is that it is 100%. Sorry, I got to get all my notes together.
Do it. I mean, educate us, because it's funny when you said you were like Cuun-Waah. I was like, Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to learn.
So, sorry, excuse me. So it's 100% carbonic macerated for 21 days. And basically what that means, it's a type of fermentation that involves the whole grape cluster in an oxygen-free environment. And you hear this process mostly with Beaujolais Nouveau. It's also done with some wines in Rioja as well as in the Burgundy region. And also it's part of the natural wine movement. A lot of people prefer this method because in one of the beginning stages, normally sulfites are added, and with carbonic maceration, that's not something that they do. And also carbonic maceration.
Quick question. Does that include the actual stems and everything? Or is it just like when it's pulled off?
So my understanding is that it's everything, because it's the whole cluster.
Okay. Okay. That's what I was wondering. Yeah.
And then because later on it'll be sort of like all that will be removed.
Okay.
But yeah, this process that was my understanding. So yeah, and that of course, like all of that adds to the flavor. And it's said to be that carbonic maceration is like an old process that goes back to the very beginning of winemaking. And one of the things I found interesting is that, you know, basically if you leave a wine, like if you just leave it there covered, untouched, basically like it'll do this process on its own. And so it's kind of like, I don't know, I just imagine like back in the olden times they were busy like drinking wine and doing other things, and like they're like, oh right, that other wine. And so like that's how, I don't know if that's how this type of wine making began, but it's just a different type of fermentation. But with that fermentation, it's most of those wines will be low in tannins, are going to be like vibrant. The notes you're going to have like are cherry, strawberry. Some of the particular interesting notes are banana and bubblegum, which you get mostly with those Beaujolais Nouveaux. So yeah, I kind of went down like a whole rabbit hole when I was like researching.
I love it. That's so interesting.
Yeah, and I love that. So this was one of those weeks where we both, like, I think maybe a half hour before we started recording, you know, you told me you're drinking like a French Chardonnay, and I'm like, oh, I mean, even though this is from California, like it's Rhone Valley, so it's still like a French area. So I love that we were both on that sort of theme. But
I was like, I'm going to do France this week. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. So I think that is pretty much everything that I had. It's 11% alcohol, so not a whole lot of alcohol, but overall just a really, really good wine.
How much was that?
Oh, $20. Not bad. Not bad
at all. Not bad at all.
And
I mean, not bad at all. So question. So
yeah.
Cuun-Waah, is it sweeter? Is it less sweet? Is it more dry? Yeah, thanks for asking, because I didn't bring that up. I would say that this is still on the dry side. I thought with it like that carbonic maceration, because normally I think those will have a little bit more sweetness in it, but I don't really detect any sweetness in this. Okay. Interesting. I have a list of things that I have to like try. I'm like, carbonic maceration. I am going to go ahead and add that, this Cuun-Waah to my repertoire.
Yeah. And I'm sure you've had Beaujolais, because I think that was one of the first ones that we did. And I'm pretty sure that was
around that type
carbonic macerated wine. I think that was all of the notes that I had. I felt like I wrote down all these notes and I went through it so quickly, but I think that was all for the Cuun-Waah.
Oh my goodness. It's so funny. Like my light is doing something crazy. I'm going to get this straightened out, guys. I don't know what's going on. You have
like a halo effect, and then it goes
it's like I get close and then it's like, there she is. And then I back up and they're like, I don't know where she is. Is she there? But yeah, so absolutely great. That's super exciting. Like I think one thing that I love about even just doing this podcast and continuing to buy wine and try wine, even though, for me, I focus mostly on stuff that I can go get in the store that I find, and one thing I can say is labeling for me is everything. It is that attractor, but I'm excited to get to this hot girl summer that we got going on. So
Yeah.
But hey, if anybody has any questions about Cuun-Waah or about French Chardonnay, one thing I can say, if you guys like how I was not like Desiree can tell you, I was not a Chardonnay drinker. And also our friend Pia can tell you that I was not a gin drinker, but I do both of those things now. And you're like,
in regards to Chardonnay, and I think this is one of the things that I recently learned, is like there's so many types of Chardonnay. And like Chardonnay, I mean, because it's one of those grapes that are like widely planted like all over everywhere. And so there's so many styles in which it can be made. And so, you were probably drinking a style from, a certain place that you don't care for.
World and New World.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know, like my world has definitely been open up to Chardonnays. I didn't mind Chardonnays because like I'm one of those, I almost was ashamed to say, a year ago, like, I love this buttery Chardonnays, but I'm like, no, I love what I love, and I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize about that.
And it's funny because I like the ones I had, because I was not a Chardonnay fan because I felt like everything was like buttery and oaky. And I've since, of course, grown to love the buttery and oaky. However, like this one here it's akin to my fave Sauv Blanc. You know what I mean? It's a little bit heavier, but it's
the notes in it, kind of like
the pineapple,
yeah,
the melon, the crispness, that kind of stuff. It's not buttery at all. And I know that a lot comes to like the soil that it's grown in and that kind of stuff or whatever. And then the age of the vine. However,
did you tell me what you're going to pair that with, or what you would pair it with?
Oh, I didn't tell you what I was going to pair it with. Tonight it's going to be pizza.
Pizza night.
But it's gonna be I'm gonna share with you guys. I'm lactose intolerant, so I will be having a Daya pizza, and it's a white Alfredo sauce based pizza. I'm gonna throw some mushrooms on there, some goodies on there. And,
wait, you're making this pizza?
So what I do, I always amp up,
okay.
I'm extra, I'm extra. Okay. So I got the pizza itself. It's kind of like a faux, like meat lovers or whatever, but it has like a white sauce. And so I'm going to add spinach that I have and also add mushrooms. Yes. So I'm going to add that to this, and it's going to be great. But because it is a little sweeter, I think it definitely would pair well with the red sauce. And the white sauce and the red. So I'm excited about it. Should be interesting.
Sounds really good.
What would you pair that with? You said it.
Yeah, everything. But I also am having pizza tonight. Cauliflower crust pizza, which, a couple of years ago I would have turned my nose up at that. Like, give me the regular crust, and now it's all I get. Like, it's all I get. I can't go back to regular crust now. It's so good.
And blame me, people. Blame me. She's a California girl, but I was like, try this California pizza.
I just remember you posted about it on Instagram, and I was like, that looks so good. And you're like, cauliflower pizza?
I actually enjoy a lot of it. Like, I enjoy it. Like, this one doesn't have cauliflower pizza crust, but I'm excited to add like all of my extra fixings and stuff to it. So
that's such a great, because I never do that. Like, I literally just like plop it into the oven.
I always dress it up. That's what I call it. I call it dressing up.
Dress it up. I mean, my version of dressing it up is like putting a whole bunch of red pepper flakes on it and maybe a little bit of oregano. But oregano.
But I mean, hey, if you want to call it oregano, it'll be just like me pronouncing La Belle Angèle,
Oregano. We're going to blame the wine on that one. Because, like, as I said it, was like, that doesn't sound right.
Oregano. But, I mean, I don't know. I kind of like the oregano. I like saying it like that. Oregano, It's like the microwave.
This is microwave.
Oh, you haven't seen it? It's a thing.
Is
It's
it?
a thing. It's a
Wait,
thing.
is this a TikTok video?
Yes. And it's
I think
several of
maybe
them.
I
The
have
microwave. You'd be like,
microwave.
pop this into the microwave.
Is
And
this
but
like Target? Is that what this is?
I am not certain because the woman who was doing the actual food, like the cooking video, did not blink. She didn't flinch. She
She
called
just says it
a
like that.
microwave. Like that's what it was. It was a
Oh, well,
microwave. So I've been pronouncing it microwave since then. You know, I don't use it often, but when I do, I call it microwave.
I like it.
Yeah.
You're gonna say microwave. I'm gonna say oregano.
Yeah.
And
do it.
We're just gonna own that.
Yeah. Well, if anybody has any questions about Cuun-Waah, or you have any questions about the French Chardonnay that I'm drinking, please feel free to hit us up. We love for you guys to interact with us, and we most certainly will reach back out. Stay tuned because we have a bunch of like fun stuff coming up. Like, you know, I don't know if it's towards the end of the month or the beginning of next month, but we got some good stuff coming up and we're going to be excited. And we're going to be engaging more. So we're excited about it. We're stabilizing and all that good stuff. So
we are work in progress. Like, thank you for sticking with us.
We appreciate you.
Or if you're new, thank you for joining and stay tuned. We are going to be continuously growing and just getting better. Like,
and if you have any wines that you, oh wow, what happened here? What happened?
Full on angelic. I feel like we need that.
If there are any wines that you would like for us to review, please let us know. And we're going to put that in the post as well. Because we're like just buying and ordering wine at this point. Like now that I'm back in Virginia, I can't wait. I'm like, oh, I'll have one of those. Oh, and I'll have one of those too. Send me a case.
Love it. I love it.
If you have anything that you would like us to review, let us know. We'd love to do that.
Yeah. All right, guys. Until next week. Bye.
I have all of mine.
Pour some more.
Thank you for joining us, guys. Have a good week.
Bye.